Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here today with my sidekick and co-host, Tony Mary. Tony, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good.
I know we've been all over everywhere in the last few weeks, so I'm gonna ask you to start off today and update us on the memorial a little bit, and then I'll get with some of this stuff that's happening with the Supreme Court and veteran benefits.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, we want to welcome everybody to our show today, and of course, as you all are familiar with, our big job is we're raising money to build the Vietnam Memorial in Piedmont Park. And so what we're doing is we got several programs going. One in particular is we're selling the commemorative brick. We're asking the Atlanta community, and that Atlanta community includes those people who went to high school with some of these veterans, those people who have veterans in their family. We're looking for anyone who's willing to spend the money to purchase a commemorative brick and have your name or that veteran's name or any veteran from any service to permanently be displayed in Piedmont Park on the Vietnam War Memorial that's being built. This particular memorial, exceptional in that Piedmont Park Conservancy, when deciding where to locate it, chose to locate it on what they call their front lawn. That portion of Piedmont Park that is located between 12th and 14th Street is prime property for Piedmont Park. That is a location that at any point anyone can come by and see that memorial. And one of the benefits of it being in that location, as most of us from Atlanta know, there are a lot of events that happen in Piedmont Park. The challenge is getting to it. However, the front lawn is always available, always accessible. So anyone who chooses to purchase a commemorative brick and be a part of this memorial at any time, they can bring their family members, and particularly one of the big things that I'm encouraging families to do as part of your family reunion memorial program is to purchase a brick in the names of those family members who served in any war. And that way, the next time you come to Atlanta and host, or your Atlanta family is hosting the memorial, they can come to Piedmont Park and point out and observe and take pictures with and post them on Facebook of that memorial brick for your family members. This is an excellent opportunity for families to celebrate those members in their family who served in any war. Now, we're particularly interested in the Vietnam War, but any war. Yes, sir.
And Tony, I want to point this out to people. Now, I know I had a talk with Cleota Winslow yesterday, matter of fact, and she was talking to me about the diversity of the memorial, right? Now, what I want people to understand and to know that this will not only be the first time the city of Atlanta has actually put a seal on military service. It also represents the era that we was coming in. People got to remember, in the 60s, when Vietnam was going on, I went into the military out of a segregated Atlanta, Georgia. Segregated. The first day I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, I was in an integrated barracks. So what this memorial represent in a period in history when our nation was separated by law. It was segregated. We was in a segregated. But the U.S. military was the first part of our society to integrate. Truman issued an executive order in 1948, 1 year after I was born, to desegregate the U.S. military. Why? Because they had took a licking that a larger part of America lost a lot in World War II. They lost a lot of people. So they had to rebuild the military. And, the people was reluctant about giving their children to a war. So Truman had this idea that, okay, we got a military. They call it was a colored military.
Yeah, yes.
It was two militaries in the United States of America. It was the colored military then, and in the colored military. Now I want y'all to understand this because you still got some residues of this in the military today. The white military general could do what military general was supposed to do, but a black military general couldn't tell a white PFC what to do. This was integrated in the U.S. military. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people shaking their head and they can't grasp this development. But look at this. From that period to today, we got a Secretary of the U.S. Defense that looked like me. We have integrated the U.S. military to become not only the most diverse part of our society, it is the most effective part of our society. So I'm saying we are better together. The U.S. military need to be able to give the rest of our society a lesson of how to get along. Because at this time in our history, we are most separated because of toxic politics than at any other time in the history of this country. But our project, our memorial, going to first of all unite Fulton County, Georgia, because there were 9 cities in Fulton County that gave their sons. And this memorial represents every demographic in America, in Fulton County that was in existence at the time. White, Hispanics, Native Americans, all. Go to sonsofAtlanta.org. If you listen, go to sonsofAtlanta.org. Look at the 40 soldiers. These are the same guys that are on the National Wall in D.C. You know, we just took them off the National Wall because we want to make military service personal. You know, and I don't know how you can make it any personal than to bring it to the hometowns from which we come. You know, because every year at our graduations in Atlanta, Georgia, and like every other community across this country, young people are going into the U.S. military. They need to know what that means. They need to know that I went into the military, Tony, because I thought I would get some benefits. You know, I was looking for that educational step up, and I knew that it could be had in the U.S. military. So that's the same kind of idea that most of our young people leave high school going into the military. And I just want to take my hat off to my grandson, Sergeant Freeman Harris, out there in Germany right now, making a career out of serving in the U.S. military. And you got a lot of other young people, you know, from all demographics in our community that are serving in the military. So our memorial is hometowners.
Yes.
We want to take them out of the context of the 58,000 and bring them home, so that hometown will understand not only did they serve, but they earned some benefits as a result of that service that could change the economic landscape of our community if they got it right. I just want to say that, Tony, because we're going to be talking about benefits that they should have and that they could have if we come together and vote.
Yeah, you know? And that's an excellent transition into the fact that a lot of us, most of us who served, got some benefits.
Got some benefits.
You know, all of us, everybody didn't get all the benefits they need, but some of us got some benefits, and there were benefits. I, for one, educational benefits, and becoming a federal employee, you get an extra 10 points. You know, those, it may not seem much, but if you're teetering on the edge of getting a job and qualifying for a job, that's important. Those little bitty things that are important, and plus, my job in the military prepared me for the job that I'm doing the job I was doing before I retired after the military. So there are just so many benefits. And so that's why we want to make sure that these veterans are getting those benefits or taking advantage of them. You know, there are so many families out there that aren't aware of some of the benefits that their veteran sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, all earned in the military. And that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to set up locations around the city so that veterans can come in and get information on the benefits they've earned. And the other thing which we want to do in those facilities is veterans who are considering going into the military. Come by, talk to us. We can tell you these are some of the benefits that you're going to earn while in the military.
Right, in the military.
And so, you know, that will encourage them to become a part of the military, which is so important. So those members, like you said, are teetering. I'm not sure if I can go to college. I'm not sure if I'm ready for college. And nowadays, I'm not sure if I can afford college.
And I'm gonna tell you something else too. They giving big sign-up bonuses for the military too now.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that when we come to the table, we're talking about veterans talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans. We're talking about improving the quality of our community with the benefits that we've already earned.
Yeah.
And we are here today now. We talk about the service, but there's a sacrifice too, Tony, that we make when we go in the military. And some of those sacrifices, we incur disabilities as a result of the military. And one of the things that bothers me, that really bothers me, that down through the years, we forgot that pharmaceuticals is a big business in our country, pharmaceuticals. And the pharmaceutical industry dictates what medical care we're getting. When we started the chapter Vietnam Veterans of America in 2001, Tony, we got up to 500 members. Now we're down to less than 100 members of Vietnam Veterans of America because of death through diseases and disabilities that was incurred in the military service, and because of the treatment modalities that VA impose. I'm not saying practice, but they impose them because that's all you can get when you don't have medical care in the community like you should. You look at what the VA is doing for veterans. You go out there and you let them take your kidneys if they say that you need to take your kidneys and put you on dialysis, but not realizing that a lot of this stuff is some pharmaceutically driven. Some of the decisions are pharmaceutically driven, but now what you talk about the military and this kind of stuff it gives you, we got one of our people that a lot of them. I ain't gonna say one of them, but we got a special veteran that just step up and then came up with some stuff. Really, I mean, and it works because I tried it, and I'm full of combat PTSD. I need stuff all the time to help me, navigate this concrete jungle that we have to live in that we call America, which I don't think is any better place on planet Earth. But when you got mental disorders, and I'm gonna talk about it because when I came back from Vietnam, I couldn't talk about the trauma that I had experienced, even though I was wounded and justifiably could have probably talked about it if I had known about what would be the impact of a mental illness on my family. Not just on me as a veteran, but on my family. And I couldn't talk about it because mental illness is taboo in my community. You say something about you got no problem. Ain't nobody want to date you. Ain't nobody want to talk with you. And so, but we've grown, we developed over the years. And what has happened, we began to see, some of our veterans began to see that pharmaceuticals can be just as bad as the disability or worse sometimes, because you get toxic dyskinesia and all kind of side effects of medication. But there is some hope in our community. There's some hope, and we got live audience too. We got people in the audience that don't want to sit on the desk and take the heat, but it's okay because they got the knowledge. We don't care. They got to be at the podium. They can be anywhere in our community, and teachers in our community with a product, that works. That's all natural stuff too. Now, I'm telling you this because I took it, and it made a difference in the way I was able to navigate through some of the things that, because mental illness don't mean that you're crazy. I finished Mercer University at 3.97 grade point. I was at a 4.0. And I got a disjointed letter, so I couldn't handle that part. I couldn't. So I dropped my grade point average, But mental illness can be dealt with natural
remedies.
Yeah. Tish, hey baby, how you doing? You know I was gonna do this. I had already told you that. I already told you because what you're doing is so important. I don't want people to underestimate it because I'm being a little comical with it. But mental illness is something that I deal with every day. And I know that triggers in my community have made me not perform well. Right? It's not just being straight up honest about it. Didn't perform well. Made some bad decisions when I was in my mental state. But I've learned that there are some remedies, some herbs, and some thanks to you and some other people that are in the natural, remedy industry. We need more of this in our community, because being ashamed of mental illness don't mean it ain't happening in your family. What you need to do is know what to do when you see your loved ones suffering. You need something to help your loved ones when they're suffering with this mental illness, because it's not an incurable disease. I know a lot of people look at me and my family, they see me coming, they get going. So, but we don't want them to feel like that. We want them to see that person that they sent into the military, that person that they had to party for, that they were so proud of, is still there. They might just need some family love, some care.
Tender loving care.
Tender loving care. And a product, an instrument, something that we can hand them instantly. And this is not, Tish, it's not that expensive. It really not, because I used it all up because it works. I tried it, and I said, I'm running into folks, and I'm performing better, because of the product that I've taken. I'm saying now, why can't we get this to more veterans?
Yes.
We got to come up with ways to get this to more veterans. Tish, can you tell us how we can can you give us the website?
Yeah, why don't we invite her up?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Invite her up.
Yes. We got to get some help in the hood. We're going trying to take these guns out of the hood too.
Right.
But we got to address this mental illness issue that everybody know is there. Ain't nobody denying it, but they got all these different approaches to it. But I'm gonna tell you, and I bear witness, the approach that you got works, and it's sufficient enough to help our community. So
Thank you.
talk to
Yes,
us
hope
about
for the hood. I like that. The hood does need help, because we are very much deficient in education when it comes to diet, exercise. A lot of times we don't correlate what we eat going directly affecting our health. Sometimes we miss that correlation for some reason. And because of this Western society, we're so used to running to doctors, Western medicines, which are a lot of chemicals. This is a lot of trial and error. They're using us as guinea pigs. They're not sure. Clinical trials are only 6 months, and they're getting their clinical trials off your results, right? So we're being guinea pigs. But what we do know is that everything that comes from God is a blessing to us, right? Just keep it very simple. Whatever you want to call that being, the things that come from the earth are healing. There is nothing that cannot be healed through natural medicine. We cannot outsmart the Creator, and that's just a fact. When I came back from Baghdad, my second tour, I had a lot of complications with getting back to my civilian life. Not just job, not just finding a place, but my mental health. My triggers, any loud noise I heard, any car that I saw parked on the highway, in my mind that thing is going to explode, right? Just because of what I had endured the last 16, 17 months. So I realized that I had a lot of triggers that I didn't really know how to cope with. And it took some counseling, but it really took a deep dive and research with myself, with mental health when it comes to what you're eating, what you're subjecting yourself to, what you're watching, what you're listening to. Those are so important when it comes to our overall health that we oftentimes overlook. We are complex beings, right? We're not just physical. We're mental, we're emotional, we're physical, and if you don't pay attention to all of those, then something's going to be out of whack and you're not going to feel balanced. You're not going to feel yourself. You're not going to be able to operate in your best self because you're not taking care of all of you. And so my battle buddy and I, when we came back, She moved to Atlanta, she was in DC, and we kind of had some peer mediation, peer therapy going on, and we helped each other adjust back to civilian life and kind of start ourselves over again. And it came with naturally and seeking natural remedies to mental health when it comes to physical health and emotional health, and finding what are ways that I can cope, what are ways that I can untrigger my triggers, what are ways that I can deal with this stress. And so once we started diving into that, we started coming up with remedies and workshops for stress management, for emotional health, behavioral health, financial literacy, digital literacy, resume writing. Like, we have all of that. And now we recently just got a life coach. We recently just got a neuroscientist on our team too. So we're really trying to make it a comprehensive one-stop shop for veterans, PTSD, and their family members. Now we have partnered with the VA, and we're targeting teenagers as well, because they are the fastest growing population of a demographic that are committing suicide. And some of those are military families. And so we're working on trying to catch that next generation, because they are slipping through our fingers. And so they just need a lot of emotional support. They need, of course, financial, right? Everybody's going through something financial right now, which is why we have our financial literacy classes, but just most emotional health, right? And emotional intelligence is what we're really lacking as well. And so the care kits that I have is very simple, but it's very powerful. It worked for me, it's worked for others, as your testimony as well. It's a book, it's a journal, it's Cards for Calm, where it tells you how to literally calm your mental state, how to calm your nerves. There's essential oils, you know, smell it and it can, we've had testimonies where it literally instantly stopped headaches without any kind of Tylenol or medication. So this is just natural wellness care kit. And that can be found on our website, vetsofvirtue.com. And you can also sign up for our notifications, where we'll send out when we're having these workshops when it comes to emotional health, neuroscience, where we have our neuroscience explain in science, like basic mental health, what you're eating, your emotional health, like breaking down the science of that, because I think that's what we're missing as well, just the real explanation that makes that connection. And so you can sign up for that. You can read more on our website, more about us, what we're doing, what we have been doing, and we're really just trying to heal the veteran community and their families.
You know, I want to say this too, because you know, there's a lot of misnomer about mental health, and especially right now in the mix of this gun violence in our country. You know, everybody want to say every time you get a gun and go off, you got a mental health issue. Well, the problem with that is our culture and the entertainment industry and all of the way we embrace violence and not understanding that PTSD is a direct product of violence. Now, you got combat PTSD, then you have a personal assault PTSD, and all the different gray areas in those areas, and it's gonna take a lot to help people deal with it, because everybody's different. One don't fit all. But when it come down to the product that you gave me to try, it was easy for me. You know, because I'm 75 years old. I'm going through a lot of paranoia now about VA medicine and the impact of that medicine, because like every time you go to the doctor, they want to give you a new pill or they want to give you a new procedure. And you know, I don't want too many procedures at my age. You know, the procedures gonna get to a point where they gonna debilitate me. So we need the kind of stuff that you're talking about out there in the community, where people will get it when they first start suffering from these different mental disorders. Now we talk about PTSD, but depressive disorder, you know, you got behavior disorder, all are brought on by traumatic experiences from different ways. You know, and a lot of time people think that the only mental disorder that you can get from a traumatic experience is PTSD. But there are several other different disability grids that can be had that's not PTSD. You know, so this is why we want people to understand how do your military injury, you know, what happened to you in service translate into you getting a disability when you're out of service, so the family can know about it. Because in too many cases, like in my personal case, I had so much pride that I wouldn't even talk to my parents about what I was going through, even though they could see the change in the behavior. I was not able to communicate what I was going through because of shame, you know, stigma, and those kind of things. But we got to arm the community to deal with the mental health issue, so that we can get all these war weapons out of our community, because that is another issue altogether. And it's more politically driven than the mental health issue. The mental health issue, we can deal with it as a community. But the gun violence, we're going to have to deal with that as politics. Because, you know, the Second Amendment don't say that you can own an automatic weapon. It say that you can bear arms. You know, and when they did the Second Amendment, there was no such thing as an automatic AR-15. So what that tells me, that we are electing people that are funded by gun industries that are putting these guns in our community. And then, so now you got the mental health issue on top of the gun violence issue. So
well, can I respectfully disagree on one point?
What's that?
Now, you said mental health issue does not supersede, the gun and politics supersedes the importance of mental health.
No,
but
I'm not saying that.
Because you said it's a bit more important, because politics, people in politics.
I'm not saying important.
But what I'm saying is that, right, no matter what law they pass, right, they can pass where they put in M16s, rocket grenade launchers, all in the community, right? But it's the mental health and the lack of emotional intelligence that's making them turn that gun on each other. You get what I'm saying? It's not the guns killing the people. It's the mental state of mind of the people that's going to point it at you, point it at their own people in their community. That's the real issue. You get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily the weapons, it's the mental state of the people that have access to the weapons.
Well, now, I'm saying, you're right to a degree, to a degree. But if they didn't have the weapons in this community, the mental health issue would manifest in a different way than it's being manifested.
And then it would be knives. So we're going to take all knives away, and then it's going to be something else. We're going to take. It has to be issued.
Know about a knife. You can't kill multiple people. You can't kill 19 kids and 2 students with a knife before you stop. No, you can't do that. Now you got.
It's possible.
OJ didn't kill people, so don't.
Well, OJ, he was only trying to kill his. Listen, he had one target. That was it.
About combat situation. You know, you're gonna have some kind of real skills to do a multiple killing with a knife. You can be a 4-year-old with an automatic weapon, get up and accidentally trigger it off when it's in the household. We need to get automatic weapons out of our communities. And until we recognize that is a problem, we're not going to solve it. We're just not going to solve it. And we can look at the fact that the gun industry is making billions of dollars while our community is suffering a rollback to slavery. Because the 13th Amendment, I want everybody to go to the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution right now, if you're looking at it. It simply says that slavery should be abolished based on race. But under the conviction of a felony offense, you shall be subject to involuntary servitude. So look at where we're at today in this country with gun violence. We got more people incarcerated right now under criminal justice control than you actually had slaves in this country when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So we got a real problem because it's stunning the growth of our community. At one point, we were the largest minority, but then here come our Spanish brothers and sisters. They're growing. We are not growing our community. Our community is not growing. You know what it is? It's being taken over by the money changers more than anything, because we will sell our souls for $1. You know, and that's what has happened to some of these people that we electing, that says that it's okay for these automatic weapons to be in the streets of America. You know, they're being funded by the NRA, and the NRA is being funded by Russia. So we got some real serious political problems that we're going to have to address along simultaneously with the mental health problem. We're going to have to address both of them at the same time. And we can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. We don't have to say we can't deal with this issue because we got some real smart people. I mean, if we can get them packs out that you got, that would calm the community down long enough for us to get them guns out of there. You know, get the guns out the house. Let's make sense, because I'm gonna tell a little story about myself. I was in Mechanicsville one day, and I had a gun. I had a gun on me. I was armed, and I was in an apartment. And I came out of the apartment, and a young man was sitting on my car. You know, probably standard for what kids do in the community that they live in, right? I come out, man, get off my car. He got a little back talk to me. The first thing I realized, I got a gun for the bust a cap again. Right? The next, let him say one more word about my car. And then I realized after that, in Canada, that I didn't need no gun. I stopped bearing arms that day. Why? My mental trigger was a threat. Anytime I feel a threat, I'm going for my gun. Because my PTSD was born in violence. I was a high killer. I was infantry. So it's easier for me to respond to violence than it is for the average person to respond to violence, because I have a mental disorder. And we got to recognize that mental disorder is rapid in our community. We need to deal with both the mental illness and the gun violence at the same time, because if we don't, we're going back to slavery. This is Veterans Talk.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. Now, let me just get to two other things that I want to get to before.
He has something burning.
I'm chopping at the bits over here.
Okay.
I will be brief.
Okay.
I will be brief. Along with the two things that you're talking about, one of the ways that we can do this is voting.
Yes.
We have a situation in Georgia where we have the governor literally says anybody in the state of Georgia can own a weapon and can conceal it at any time.
Anytime. Keep it.
And that is a dangerous situation put on top of the two situations that you're talking about. Yes. So one of the ways that we can do this politically is by getting out and voting for those people who do not have an attitude about legal weapons being in the hands of people that are unstable.
And Tony, I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because see, one of the things that Brian Kemp ran on is the right to bear arms. And not only did he ran on it, he demonstrated in his ads that, I'm gonna keep mine, and I'm gonna point it at a young man and let him know this is the way you handle stuff. So we don't need leaders that say that the gun is the way you handle disputes. Yes. We need leaders that say that if you got a problem you can't handle, call the police. Yeah. But we know now the police don't come running into to places where they got automatic weapons at too. Yeah. So we need to have some reform in the police department. So that don't mean you got to defund them. That means you got to correct the people, the police procedures. They need to screen more of these people that they hire for police officers too. We just got to be straight up honest about the truth of what we're dealing with in this country right now. Because if we don't get people elected in our governments that respect the democracy that we have. We're not gonna have a democracy. I can say this. I live about right down the street off Cleveland. Last year I was in Marvin Arrington's district. They done redrew the boundaries. Now they done took me out of Marvin's district and put me in a district where my vote ain't gonna get nobody elected. If we don't vote, if we don't understand the power of the vote, we're gonna fall victim to, repeating what we just came out of. Because you got people, not just in this country, but all over the world right now, screaming about diversity, because they feel threatened. The world is gonna turn brown whether they feel threatened or not anyway. That's the way it's gonna go. They can't do anything about it, but they will do anything they can to try to stop it. That's hate and fear. What we have to do is stand up to hate with love, fear with courage, and let people know what we're standing for. We serve for already. So we're committed to this country and a better way of life in this country for all people, not just for black people, because we know we can't have a good life if we got our foot on somebody else's neck. We got to realize that we are in this together, and until we start acting like it and electing people into politics that gonna stay this democracy and the development of this democracy, then we got a problem. And I think veterans are the people that can tell the story. Geez, you couldn't have did what you did to help if you hadn't experienced it.
That's right.
So I always think like this, sometimes what we go through is a calling.
Absolutely.
Those he called, he equipped. The equipping is not easy. That means you're pruning some stuff, or you're putting them through some things. You had to learn to care on a level that most people don't care. To think deeper than the womb. I'm gonna think deeper than the womb. I'm gonna find a way to heal it, to stop the pain. We need to understand that this is what veterans bring to the table. We got to get into it because they're taking us out. They're taking the democracy that we serve for out of our community, out of our grasp. What we looking at, they call inflation is a problem, right? If we got inflation, we got the power to stop it tomorrow. The people. All we got to do is just go on a fast. If we went on a 30-day fast, business would buckle at the knees. Things would change that you've been trying to get changed that you wouldn't even believe they'll come to your aid because you ain't buying nothing. Don't buy no gas. We don't need no gas. If you're fast, I don't need nothing. Dr. King told us the way to fight oppression is stop cooperating with it. We got to stop cooperating with the oppressors because we have the power to defeat it. The vote. The vote is the most important tool we have to save our community. I don't want Joe Blow that's got a mental issue with no gun. No automatic weapon, especially. Because he got too much kill power before you can stop him. And we done seen with our own eyes in Texas that the people that are the good guy with the gun ain't rushing at no bad guy with the gun. He's not gonna do it. He gonna stand up there and he gonna have an excuse. They stood up there, the police stood up there for 2 hours while those kids was being massacred. But all of us know as soldiers, we couldn't have did that. We'd have had to rush it. We'd have to rush the door. You know that. You'd have had to rush the door. That was your job. But what they did, they stood looking and waiting on some more equipment. You don't do that in the military. Yeah. We got to stop letting these people that only thing they're concerned with is the dollar. They got more money than they ever spend. It would not hurt this guy that owns Amazon to give everybody $25 an hour. It wouldn't, but it would help those families that right now that can't afford a rent in Atlanta, Georgia, because a 3-bedroom costs you $1,500 a month. Yep. But you ain't making $1,500 a month. We got to give our vote Tony.
Yeah.
We got to give our vote some sense. We got to give our vote some sense. We got to stop cowering down for things that are going to make it convenient for individuals. We're all in this together.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to tell you what. Deborah, I have been leaning on Deborah so hard lately because my computer stopped working. But that's like a shutdown for me. But I knew somebody that I could call on. We got to get back to that. That's the way we used to live. If I don't know how to do something happened to my house, I can call my neighbor. We're not being neighborly anymore. We got to get back to that. We got to get people to vote in the office that will change these laws that are stifling our community, that are stopping veterans from getting their benefits. These people got all these offices throughout the state of Georgia. We got homeless people downtown. All this is your tax money. This is the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. They got dots all over the state, but they ain't even paying them enough to help veterans get their benefits. We electing the wrong folks.
Yep.
It's time for us to vote in November. We need to come to the poll. Listen, they playing politics in Washington D.C. We had the PAC Act. We thought that was a given that we teach about these burn pits. We just thought that they gonna start treating people. The Republicans blocked the bill so they couldn't have their way on something else. We don't send people to the office to fight with each other.
Right.
We send them up there to negotiate with each other. But at the end of the day, we want a bill. We want remedies to the problems in our community. That's what government was meant to do. We done got government that's doing what the corrupt politicians want them to do, or the party power want them to do. I don't want no politician being controlled by a Democratic Party or a Republican Party.
Exactly.
You know, I'm tired of that talking this toxic politics. They fight each other just because here's a Democrat, they the evil in the world, and we're there to correct it. And then we look at all of them breaking the law. The Democrats want to say it's okay to do inside trade. You know, they know well that they need more people under insurance because people are being sick and can't go to the doctor. In this state of Georgia, because they can't get Medicare. A governor that won't extend these privileges of government to all the people. It's time up. Veterans need to come together and let them know that we care more about our service than they think. I'm proud of what I did. I mean, it might not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out when it did, but I did it anyway. And I'm not going to stand up and act like, oh, well, I made a mistake for going in the military. No, I didn't. You know, I made a mistake for not knowing what I could get out of the military when I went in. You know, that's what I made the mistake at. I didn't know how good it was. You know, I'm rushing in to rush out. You know, so I need to go into the military knowing that all these different places, I can go in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and they ain't got to be in no combat zone. I don't have to do the combat part. Let somebody else do the combat part. They got people that want to do the combat. I didn't want to do the combat. I just was assigned to the combat unit and I did my service. Like every good soldier do.
Yep.
We was assigned. What we trying to do with the Sons of Atlanta is make this stuff personal in the hometowns of the people from which we come. So that it'll mean something. It'll mean something when you know that Joe Blow gave his life for your freedom and you knew his family. He came out of the same school that you came out of. That means something. That hopefully will drive your vote too.
Yeah.
To make sure that you are voting, to make sure that you got people in charge of government that won't start a war that they ain't planning to win.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start no war unless you plan to win it. You know, I'm concerned about the war in Ukraine right now because Americans are dying already. Whether we talking about we in a war, we in a war. And it's gonna get worse if we don't get some votes, some people in power to stop the gun industry from killing us. What Eisenhower said that to us when he was president. Beware of the military-industrial complex. These people want wars because that's the way they make money.
Yep.
And we're electing them people. We're giving them our vote, and ain't thinking about the outcome, the consequences that I'm gonna send my child to war, and he gonna do the war and come home and kill himself. Because nobody cared enough to understand what this young man or young woman just went through. And they're trying to make them tell the story when they know the story. They know the story. We got to make sure that this November, like no other November that we ever had in America, that we go to the poll and vote on the state level.
Yes.
On the state level. And get some of these people out of politics that been there too long. They've been there too long. They're in districts that they know they can't get elected in, so they draw the line where they can get elected anyway. That is not respecting the democracy that we stood up for. And then I'm in a problem with the way my hometown is being developed right now. You got a homeless problem. They're making it worse because of the high mortgages, the high rent, and the low wages. You know, they talking about they ain't got nobody coming to work. They ain't paying nobody to come to work, and they getting away with it. And then they gonna stand up there and talk about, well, they got all these jobs and don't nobody want to work. Don't nobody want to work for nothing. They gonna see you getting all the profits out of their work. And the government, those that we send to government, are approving this. They're allowing it to happen.
Yep.
And it's our responsibility. It is on us to make sure that, first of all, we're getting that mental health care. We need that so that we won't have all this domestic violence in our homes where children are being traumatized. You got kids going to first grade already traumatized because of the domestic violence. What's the biggest contributor to domestic violence in our house? The lack of income. The lack of income. You got two young people. They got all the things that America would say you gotta have. They got debts. They got bills. But the income, two working in the household, still is not enough to carry that household. So what gonna have? They're gonna have violence. They're gonna have domestic disputes. We throwing them against each other before they even get married because we align these politicians to be elected, and our governments that is not running the government for the benefit of all the people. You know, everybody can't have their way, but we can all get along. You know, we can all have community. We can all be safe in our community. We don't have to worry about some kid coming down the street and doing a drive-by shooting at a wedding or a child's party. We didn't have to have him at a child's party. You know, they're celebrating the child's birthday. Some idiot come by with an automatic weapon, they do a drive-by. We can stop this.
Yep.
We can stop this. And the way we start stopping it, we got to come together, just like they used to do when it was in segregation. You couldn't get out of your neighborhood, you had to protect it. You know, we got to protect our neighborhoods again. We got to start caring about our neighbors again. You know, and we got to let these people that we elected in office to know that, bro, man, we understand that you appoint judges to the courts that's going to interpret the law. You know, you hear what I say? Interpret the law in a way that is going to benefit you.
Yep.
We got to get back to the doctrines that we set the government up under. You know, the Constitution of these United States gives us a lot of room to wiggle. It gave us enough room to come out of slavery. It gave us enough room to come out of segregation. What makes us think that it ain't got enough power to take us to the next level? It has the power to do it if we would do it. We got to vote. And not vote for somebody because of the color of their skin. Vote for them because of what they're going to do for the community. I want to shout out to our representative, Michael Julian Bond, and Marvin Arrington Jr. I don't care what nobody else think about them. They worked for us. They did what they were supposed to do. Now we got to talk about what that administrative process looked like, Tish. when they got all this stuff set up, me and you and Tony and all of it down there, news media blasting, and the commissioner telling them what they done set up money to do for veterans in Fulton County, and we didn't get nothing. We got in that bureaucratic process, and it all went the other way. They not gonna get away with that. See what done happened. Tony, thank you, bro. Thank you, because me and Tony, we lobbied for this stuff. We going down there knocking on doors and talking to, and they finally came up 3 years after we done started knocking on doors. They came up and said, okay, we're gonna set up a veteran service program in Fulton County. And it sounds so good to teach me. We just knew we were gonna see some homeless veterans coming off the street.
Yep.
I called some of them organizations, got the money, they ain't got no vacancies. But I got you.
Mm-hmm.
We got you. Because they got me and Tish and Tony on the Empowerment Commission. And we ain't finna go nowhere. We first of all, we're going to have a talk with these commissioners and say, did you vet some of these people that you appointed on this commission? Because they came down there trying to change the whole thing. They didn't like the way it went up. We didn't think that they was going to do that. We thought people going to come down there and work together for the benefit of veterans in Fulton County. We didn't see that. We had a lot of acrimonious stuff going on with people coming in talking about they didn't come there to volunteer for Fulton County. Well, we lobbied for people to be able to volunteer. Yeah. That was the whole notion, because we recognize this here. You got too many property pimps in the homeless situation for it to ever be eliminated. If you making a profit off of something, you're not about to eliminate your capacity to make a profit.
Yep.
So we came to take the profit out of that, and they slapped it right back on there. We got to take the profits out of people helping people with mental health issues. But they ain't gonna never give them the right stuff. They gonna give them the pharmaceutical, because that's who paying. Right. We got to come up from this slavery mentality that we are still holding on to. We got to integrate, Tony. We got to go and integrate. We got to take these people to the next level. Because somebody thinking that, well, I want a white nation. You're not gonna have no white nation. Period. Forget about it. Some people think we're gonna all go in a black place. I ain't going there. So forget about it. This is where God has us. Yep. We need to work together. We need to be able to do things that gonna make a difference in our community. And I want to thank you, Tish, for the stuff that you're doing, baby, because you might not know how powerful it is yet, but we're gonna get that stuff in the community, because see, it's economical and it works, and it can help people that seeing their loved one get naked and go outside and get shot to death. You know what's going on in that household. We need to get knowledge in the household where this stuff is happening, so they can help their loved ones. We standing back off of it like, well, it don't bother me. Right. It does. We are our brother's keepers. Right. We got the tools, we got the knowledge. You know what? If they would ever realize how much they got in their veterans in our community, they'd change overnight, man. They got to look around and see how valuable these people are, because they do bring back to the community a special talent for work accomplishments. For work accomplishments. You look at the veteran community. In every place they work or got businesses, they shine. I ain't saying that all of them are perfect. Now you got some crooks in the veteran community too, because they got some in there because they was up there on January 6th trying to tear down the government. So I'm not saying everybody's perfect, Tony, but anyway, I'm gonna turn it back to you. Let me get back to you, guys. Let you close it out here.
Yeah, well, one of the things I want to mention is we're in cooperation with other veteran organizations, and an event that's happening tonight at 8 o'clock from 8 to 11 is American Legion Post 291. They're hosting a McClinton Experience Variety Band. That's at the VFW located on 4588 Boulder Crest Drive out in Southwest Atlanta. So if anybody's looking for a night of entertainment, and we all enjoy entertainment and everything, and plus we're hanging with veterans. Here's an opportunity for us to talk to veterans about veterans things and what other veterans organizations are doing. So here's an opportunity to hang out with veterans and talk about the things that are concerning in your community.
And they're for our guys too. You know, we went out one night to what was that, BFW?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, veterans are fun people to hang out with. So don't be afraid of. I know that we got some issues, but I have not been around a greater group of individuals in our community because they are workers. They are community concerned. I want to holler out to Troy. He just got his business started, a disabled veteran business. He selling cars. You know, so we want to start talking about that too because we want people to know what veterans are doing in the community. You know, we want them to patronize veterans' community businesses. And I want to shout out to Kenny, K&A Treasures down on Metropolitan. We're coming soon with some products that gonna start from $1 all the way up to thousands of dollars because he got some antiques down there that's unbelievable. You know, right down the corner of a Metropolitan and right behind the Channel Smith complex. We want to talk about what veterans doing in the community because we are doing a lot. You know, we want to talk about some of the veteran churches that's doing a lot in the community. So you're gonna see some people coming on the show that's gonna be sharing information about veterans and all the things that we do in the community and should be doing together. Next week. Tisha, you want to say goodbye?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Again, the website for our care kits is vetsofvirtue.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, and I want to acknowledge somebody else in the community. Ken is always here, so brother, thank you for what you're doing. And Deborah is here with us. She's back. I know she had some space for a minute because she had a job. Now she's looking for another job, but we're gonna fix it where she's gonna be jobbing in the industry. Because now she's an amazing person because she got one son that's retired military, you know, and come out of a military family that's some amazing people too. Our sisters, I got to meet some of her sisters, and you know, when I call her, I got the whole crew to help me. You know, right now they're trying to help me get my computer back up because I'm about to go crazy over that. I can't turn it on. When I can't get on that computer, it's a problem, man. Because I do all my work on the computer. That's where I do my service on the computer. So I want to thank Deborah and her family and all the veterans that's tuned into the Sons of Atlanta, Vietnam Veterans of America, and what we're doing on Fulton County Veteran Empowerment Commission. And we want you to understand what we're doing in the city of Atlanta. We are lobbying government to give back some of our tax dollars to do what we want done in the community, and they are doing it. They're doing it, but they got this bureaucratic stuff that we got to get through. Some things we have to work through by identifying what the enemy is and taking the target out. You know, that's what we do in the military. We identify what the enemy is and we take them out. So to next week we're going to get back to, I want you to understand the claim process at VA has changed tremendously. And I'm proud of it because I'm modeling it for you. I filed a claim in March, right after my birthday. In June, it was finished. And I was rated up to 120% more than I was already rated, but they didn't change they didn't change my combined rating, Tish. And that's a cheat stick. And we're gonna get our congressmen and senators to deal with these cheat sticks that they got at VA that take away the impact of our veteran benefits. Because that's not the only one. 120% now. I got 120% more on top of what I already had, and it didn't change my pay. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing I want you to tune in there every Saturday afternoon because we're here doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show. We're trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in America, and America with the plight of veterans. We're less than 1% of the population, but we provide 90% of the service when it comes down to protecting the democracy. You know, ain't that so? 1%. Yeah. I'm proud to be a veteran, man. I'm proud to sit between two veterans that are still in the community, still doing good work, trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation. And to next week, We'll be back again doing the same thing every week. And my econ, I want you to look at what that says on the screen in Sons of Atlanta. You got 2 websites there. Go to both of them. We want you to see what we're doing. Sons of Atlanta, explain the project. My econ is something that you got to really get into, because this is a way that we are funding what we do now. My econ, join the membership. This is one of the ways you can make money. See you next week. Thank you.